Chairman Doggett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 30 requires a person in jurisdictions with an adult-oriented establishment board to obtain a valid entertainer permit from the board prior to performing adult cabaret entertainment for compensation. Prohibits public, private, and commercial establishments from allowing a person younger than 18 to attend a performance featuring adult cabaret entertainment. Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Doggett renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I just want to point our attention to some hypocrisy that's happening in this building right now. So we just voted to not have any type of regulation or any type of safety precautions around the Second Amendment, but now we have a bill to regulate drag shows. Drag shows are not a threat to our community. Mass shootings are. So I hope that we pay attention to the ridiculousness, the circus that is this body, where we're now passing a bill to create a regulatory board of drag shows, but the sponsor of the previous bill said that we should not regulate the Second Amendment. But when it comes to the First Amendment, members of this body have every intention and every comfort with disrespecting, undermining, and regulating First Amendment's free expression clause. I just think it's absurd that we are so threatened by drag shows, but we don't take seriously the real threats to our community. And I just ask my colleagues here again to look in the mirror. What is going on in this body? This is absurd. And I hope that the sponsor of this bill will reconsider this attack on the LGBTQ community, reconsider this attack on drag shows. I don't know in Giles County if you've been to drag shows and they felt like they needed to be regulated. I don't know if you've been there, Representative Doggett, but I think that these are not a real threat to our communities. And I hope that you reconsider this absurdity that you have disguised as legislation. Thank you.
Chairman Doggett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. All we're doing is stating that a permit will be required for adult cabaret performance, which is defined as being harmful to minors. The permit will be required if compensation is received.
Representative Jones.
So we need a permit to have a drag show, but we don't need a permit to carry a firearm. I mean, we talk about how the Constitution is our permit. In this case, would the Constitution not be the permit of these drag performers who are exercising their constitutional right to express themselves as they please? Is the Constitution not their permit, Representative Doggett?
Chairman Doggett.
All we're doing here is stating if you are performing in a manner that is harmful to minors and receiving compensation, you will need a permit.
Representative Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative Doggett, have you been to...
Chairman Doggett.
Cannot say that I have, no, sir.
Representative Jones.
Have you seen the governor's yearbook photos? On the bill.
Representative Jones.
I was just trying to think of an example that the representative might be familiar with. But when we look at drag shows, there is nothing harmful. If you actually go to drag shows, there's no harm there. We've already passed the bill targeting this community. Now you're expecting them to register with the state after you've already come after them to put their name in a registry so that you can target them even further. I mean, this bill is bullying on bullying. And I believe that the Constitution is their permit to exercise the First Amendment. If it applies to the Second Amendment, it should apply to the First Amendment as well. This bill is nothing more than hate in drag. It's nothing more than intolerance and targeting in drag, disguised as legislation, and it is shameful. And so I ask again, Representative Doggett, you have never been to a drag show, so you're legislating on something you're not familiar with, trying to say that it's harmful, and saying that we should require a permit for an activity that has not had any instance of harming our community, where mass shootings have, and this body just said we don't need a permit to exercise the Second Amendment. Can you explain the dissonance in these ideologies? Because I think that even here, my colleagues are unfamiliar with the Constitution and the First Amendment. We seem to only have read the Second Amendment, so I hope that y'all will go back and review the First Amendment and look at the free expression, free speech clauses of those amendments. Thank you.
Chairman Doggett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. All I can say to that is a person who is not performing in a manner that is harmful to minors would not require a license in this instance.
Representative Jones, he passes. Very good. Representative Ritchie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask to remove previous question.
Representative Ritchie moves previous question. Objection. I see objection. We're voting on previous question. All those in favor vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take.
Ayes 72, 24 nays.
Previous question prevails. We are voting. All those in favor of House Bill 30 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Butler, aye. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 74, 23 nays.
House Bill 30, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion for reconsider is tabled. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Joint Resolution 38 by Representative Reedy, a resolution proposed amendment to Article 1, Section 26 of the Constitution of Tennessee relative to the right to keep and bear arms.
Representative Reedy. Oh, Chair Lady Hazelwood. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that HJR 38 be referred to the Finance Subcommittee and placed on the constitutional amendment calendar.
You've heard the motion, properly seconded. Is there any objection? Without objection.